The world heard a perfect voice, but did they hear the pressure that created it? When Christmas delivered her final note on Britain's Got Talent, it wasn't just a powerful vocal. It was the culmination of a lifelong struggle. For years, she had chased a standard of vocal perfection that was both her greatest strength and her heaviest burden. Our investigation into her training reveals a grueling dedication that often went unnoticed beneath the polished performances. The secret struggle was not about a lack of talent, but the agonizing pressure to maintain it in an industry that demands flawlessness. We speak with vocal coaches about the unique psychological toll placed on powerhouse singers. The assumption that vocal perfection is effortless is a common misconception, and for the relentless pursuit of that perfect sound was often a solitary and exhausting journey. Her secret past wasn't an advantage. It was a constant source of anxiety. While the public debate focused on whether Christmas was an industry plan, her real struggle was internal. Our report suggests that she lived in constant fear that her professional West End credits would lead to immediate rejection by the audience. Instead of feeling secure in her training, she felt exposed and judged. The narrative that she was a fraud weighed heavily on her mental well-being, turning her hard-won experience into a liability in the eyes of the public. This section investigates the anxiety of hiding her true professional self, a pressure that likely intensified every vocal performance. Her perfect voice was a defense mechanism, a way to prove her worth in a competition that seemed stacked against her background. The fear of failure was compounded by the fear of exposure. For every standing ovation, there was a quiet fear of failure. Behind the scenes of BGT, secret struggle was driven by the knowledge of how fickle fame can be. She had seen countless talent show winners disappear, and she was terrified of becoming another statistic. This fear fueled an intense obsession with detail in her performances. We explore reports from the rehearsal rooms suggesting she would overtrain, often pushing her voice to the limit to avoid any perception of mediocrity. The pursuit of perfection was not about vanity. It was about survival in a brutal industry. This anxiety about her future often made the joy of her BGT journey feel secondary to the pressure of ensuring each performance was a critical success. Her vocal consistency was a product of this intense, underlying fear that any slip-up could cost her the only chance she had left. When the golden confetti fell, it wasn't joy she felt, but terrifying responsibility. The golden buzzer is the ultimate validation, but for Christmas, it was a golden cage. It guaranteed her visibility, but it also elevated public expectations to an unmanageable level. The pressure was no longer just about doing her best. It was about validating's choice. We investigate the unique stress of being the chosen one, a status that often invites envy and intensified scrutiny. Our reports indicate that struggled with this new burden, feeling she had to outdo her first audition every single time. The golden buzzer didn't make her journey easier. It made every performance a high-wire act where the cost of falling was now. Her perfect voice had to answer not just her own standards, but the collective hope and cynicism of millions. The loudest applause often hides the deepest solitude. Elite vocal performance is an isolated marathon. For Christmas, the struggle behind her perfect voice was marked by hours of solitary practice, strict dietary regimes, and environmental controls. Our investigation into her vocal hygiene routine reveals a level of discipline that is both admirable and incredibly isolating. The constant focus on maintaining vocal health means missing social events, limiting conversation, and living a life built entirely around the next performance. This self-imposed isolation is a hidden cost of vocal stardom. We examine how this discipline can impact an artist's relationships and mental health, reinforcing the idea that the perfect sound often requires a silent life. The public sees the glamour, but they don't see the silent, lonely dedication needed to sustain it. She tried to silence the world, but her voice couldn't ignore the noise. Despite her best efforts to ignore the online backlash, the criticism took a severe toll on her confidence. For a singer whose talent was her identity, being called a fraud was a psychological attack on her very existence. Sources close to the production suggest that she became overly critical of her own performances, analyzing every slight vocal imperfection in light of the negative comments. The external noise fueled her internal critic, making it harder to trust her natural ability. This section explores how this self-doubt can paralyze an artist, creating a choke effect under pressure. Her consistency on stage was a massive act of willpower, a constant mental battle to shut out the world and believe in the voice that others were trying to tear down. The performance of My Way wasn't just a victory, it was a psychological release. The moment that cemented her win was her semi-final performance of My Way. Our investigation reveals that this choice was more than just a musical fit. It was a desperate emotional outpouring. Sources suggest that view this performance as her final statement, a chance to show the world who she was, regardless of the controversy. Vocal analysts argue that the raw emotion in her delivery came from a place of deep frustration and ultimate resolve. This was the moment she stopped singing to please others and started singing for herself. The perfect voice was replaced by a powerful, authentic voice that resonated because of its raw emotional vulnerability. This performance acted as a form of catharsis, allowing her to release the built-up tension of the entire competition in one monumental musical statement. Winning BGT was her dream, but the victory was shaded by heartbreak. The announcement of her name as the winner should have been the happiest moment of her life. Yet, those who were closest to her saw a different story in her eyes, one of complete exhaustion and relief rather than pure joy. Our reports describe a backstage scene that was more subdued than the public coronation implied. She had survived the battle, but she was by the process. The victory was a validation, yes, but it came with a heavy cost. This section investigates the bittersweet nature of reality TV success, where the celebration is often followed by a complex period of recovery from the intense psychological strain of the competition. Winning didn't solve her problems. It simply gave her a new set of challenges to face while she was already at her breaking point. Her true voice is now fighting to emerge from the perfect mold. Now that the competition is over, Christmas faces her biggest struggle yet, defining herself beyond the BGT winner label. The pressure to maintain the perfect voice continues, but it must now evolve into an authentic voice for a debut album. We speak with industry professionals about the unique challenge of rebranding a reality TV star as a genuine recording artist. This vision of her may clash with her own artistic desires. This section explores the creative friction behind the scenes as she tries to figure out what her perfect voice really means to her. The struggle has now shifted from seeking public approval to achieving artistic authenticity, a battle that is often much harder to win than any talent competition. The secret struggle isn't a secret anymore. It's a shared message of strength. In conclusion, the story of Christmas is not just about a perfect voice, but the resilience it took to protect it. Our investigation reveals a woman who was constantly on the verge of breaking, yet she never did. The public saw a polished performer, but now they see the person behind the notes, the person who fought anxiety, perfectionism, and self-doubt to achieve her dream. The untold story of her struggle has become a message of hope for other artists who feel the weight of expectation. Her perfect voice wasn't a gift. It was a hard-won victory in a war the world never knew she was fighting. Christmas proved that true strength isn't about being flawless. It's about continuing to sing even when the music is hard to hear.